now.
Yes, I didn't say. What are you looking so sad about, Champ?
I'm surprised at you. I mean, I'm really insulted. I mean, that's not right what you just said.
What do you mean? What I just said?
I mean, I'm getting a drink of water. I'm late getting home, but you talk. I said something about the greatest heavyweight champ, man. I'm a hometown man, and you talk about Joe Louis, man. Joe Louis wouldn't be nothing for me. Joe, I tell you, Joe, do you think you would have stood a chance with me?
Well, Clay, during one time during my career, I went on a Bomb of the Month tour.
Bomb of the Month? I would have been a bomb compared to you.
Well, you've been on the tour.
Oh, man.
Watch this. A left-right combination by Rocky draws a beautiful left hook counter by La Starza. Oh, his man down. La Starza has been knocked down, but never out. As he himself puts it, I know how to get up. During this, and ducking under those shots by Marciano. Watch.
What's happening, my people? It's Cash Sports again, back for another afternoon with the family. Now, as usual, before we get started, let me give a shout out to the JBT community. It's just boxing talk. We're a group of people who just love to talk boxing. And we're always looking for others to join us. And you don't have to be a content creator. The only requirement is you just have to love to talk boxing. That's all. Miss Cass, hashtag JBT, Mike Mazik. Salute to everyone and welcome to another episode of Cass Sports, The Box Storia. Today, movie boxers. And you know what time it is. If it's Monday through Friday, 2 p.m., it's The Box Storia, bringing you all that boxing history. Boxing is the greatest sport of them all. That's why we love it. Can't get enough of it. Tim Layton, hashtag JBT in the building. What's up, Tim? Good to see you today. We're going to be talking about some fictional movie boxing, like Rocky, both of the Creeds, Apollo Creed and the Son, Clubber Lang. Yeah, we're going to talk about the movie boxers today. James Cagney made a nice boxing movie back in the 20s. No, I wasn't alive. I ain't that old, okay? But first, for our highlights of boxing history today, a little history lesson is going to be, have fighters in the weigh-ins and the pre-fight press conferences always pushing and shoving and calling each other names and all that kind of stuff. We got 10 gentlemen boxers today that never engaged in that type of behavior, okay? They did their talking in the ring with their fists. 10 of the gentlemen of boxing. We're going to talk about them right now, okay? They were just as tough as, matter of fact, we had a slap recently, Teofimo and Oliver Barboza. But these 10 guys today, they never engaged in that type of behavior, okay? They were just as tough as anybody that went up those steps and went between those ropes. But they did their talking in the ring with their fists, okay? 10 of boxing's greatest gentlemen. That's going to be our highlights of boxing history today, okay? And the rest of the week, tomorrow is going to be, we're going to talk about combinations. That's a request from Lucy Goosey. Wednesday we got a show out of the chat from Lucy Goosey himself. And he wanted the list of the greatest combination punches. So we're going to talk about combinations first, some different types of combinations, the importance of them. And then we're going to list some of the greatest combination punches. And then Thursday, Boxing in the States continues with Rhode Island, okay? And Friday, the profile this week is going to be the life and career of Sergio. I can't think of his name right now. He got a fire resume. Sergio Kovalev, right? Sergio Kovalev got one of those Oscar resumes. Fought them all. Fought Fury. He fought Andre Ward. Did he fight Joshua? I know he fought Canelo. Got a fire resume. Sergio Kovalev Friday. Kensaw Love 1 in the building. Salute Kensaw Love 1. How are you this afternoon? We're getting ready to talk about 10 of the gentlemen of boxing. They didn't fight in press conferences or call the other fighters out of their name or anything. They did their talking in the ring. And salute to Jarrell Hattie. What's up, Jarrell? Let's get started with the highlights of boxing history. 10 of boxing's greatest gentlemen. Mike Grimm in the building. Excuse me, let me take a drink. Wow. Get a coughing fit at 2 o'clock every day. But how's everybody today? This is the Tuesday afternoon edition of Cast Sports The Box Story. Still right at the beginning of another big week of boxing history. Okay, let's do our highlights of boxing history so we can start talking about these movie boxing. Okay, again, 10 of boxing's greatest gentlemen. Now, in boxing, there are good guys and there are bad guys, right? They're not in a personal sense, but in the roles people seem to gravitate toward in their public persona, right? Now, the man who arguably inspired and electrified more people than any other fighter, the great Muhammad Ali, he was not exactly the most sporting gentleman when it came to his pre-fight and in-ring antics. Now, it's not an indictment of Ali the person, okay? It's just an acknowledgement of the character he created to promote his fights and rattle his opponents. Now, so you shouldn't expect to see Ali on this list today when we're talking about the gentlemen in boxing. You know, Ali didn't make the cut, right? Because he was the greatest smack talker of all time. This list is about the fighters who never seemed to take things personally. Guys who did their job without the theatrics and bombast outside the ring, as some of their peers did. These guys did their talking in the ring with their fists. Classy is one word you could use on them. But that's absolutely not to suggest that some of the people that's not on this list, including Ali, that's not to say they wasn't classy, okay? But it's just simply that their boxing personas were not classy. Humility is a big part of the criteria for this list, right? Unfortunately, that eliminates a lot of top fighters, right? Whose unwavering confidence in themselves often seemed egotistical or arrogant, like Duran, Mayweather, Ali, Tyson, and a few others. Even the great Sugar Ray Robinson was known to have an astronomically high view of himself, and rightly so. Now, this list is divided into 5 of the old-time legends and 5 fighters that fought in the modern era. All retired, but 5 old-time legends and 5 fighters that fought like in the 2000s, okay? So let's take a look at it. And fittingly, we kick it off with Floyd Patterson, whose nickname was actually the Gentleman of Boxing. So very fitting to kick it off with Floyd, right? That was his nickname, the Gentleman of Boxing. That's not Floyd Patterson. Sorry, that's Manny Pacquiao. Okay, there's Floyd Patterson right there. Wow, Booger in the building. What's up, AB? Salute. Good to see you today. Yeah, we're going to be talking about movie boxes, but right now we're talking about some 10 of the greatest gentleman boxers. You know, those guys that didn't get into fights and curse each other out at the press conference and stuff. These 10 guys did their talking in the ring with their fists. And first is Floyd Patterson, whose nickname was the Gentleman of Boxing. Now, Floyd Patterson is known for, among other things, being the first man to lose and reclaim the heavyweight championship of the world. He was beaten badly and stopped in the 3rd round by Swedish great Ingemar Johansson, losing the crown in 1959. Now, in the immediate rematch, Patterson caught Johnson with a leaping left hook right on the button, and the result turned into one of the greatest knockouts of all time. Now, Johansson's leg was eerily twitching as he lay unconscious on the mat. Now, Patterson had just made history. The only heavyweight champion to ever lose and regain the title, yet his only visible concern was Johansson's health. Once he realized how badly he might have hurt him, right? Now, Johansson turned out to be fine physically, but he was never the same as a fighter after that. Now, Johansson was knocked out again in the 3rd fight with Patterson. and that was the last he was seen on the world stage. Now, Patterson is remembered for being a great boxer and also a model of sporting behavior and gentlemanly conduct. Now, he came from abject poverty and worked his way to the heavyweight championship of the world, right? And the fame and fortune that came with that title. He never forgot his roots and embodied the humble, genuine, nice guy fighter. And Patterson and Johansson ended up becoming great friends and remained so for the rest of their life, right? And Patterson is remembered for being a great boxer and also a model of sporting behavior and gentlemanly conduct. And like Patterson and Johansson ended up becoming great friends, and they kept in touch for life. This was the antagonist of his most bitter and violent rivalry as a fighter between those two, but there was no grudge between them after they got out of the ring. Floyd Patterson, Bruce Gas, Boxing Jazz, and more. What's up, Bruce Gas? How are you today? We're talking about some of the gentlemen of boxing. First one was Floyd Patterson. Okay. Got 5 old school legends and 5 that fought in the modern era. The gentlemen of boxing. You know, you didn't see these guys cursing their opponents out in the pre-fight press conference or the weigh-in or throwing hands or anything. They saved it for the ring. You know, but they did get their opponents in weigh-ins and pre-fight press conferences, cursed at them and stuff. But these fighters just seemed to smile. You could almost read their minds. Wait till I get your ass in that ring. Excuse my French. You could almost read their minds, right? Next is Emil Griffith, gentleman of boxing. Emil Griffith. Now, Emil Griffith was an incredible athletic and physical specimen in his prime. Now, Emil never wanted to be a fighter, but he turned out to be great at it, right? Griffith will sadly go down in history not just as a great middleweight champion in the post-Sugar Ray Robinson era, but as a participant in one of the most horrific scenes that has ever occurred on television in a boxing ring, the death of Benny Paret. Now, things happen so fast in the ring, it's impossible to assign blame in a situation that required decisive split-second thinking that obviously didn't happen until it was too late. But you can't blame Griffith. He did exactly what a fighter is supposed to do. And he's born to cross. Excuse me for a minute. You can't blame Griffith. He did exactly what a fighter is supposed to do, and he's borne the cross of that guilt for decades. You know, now there's a scene from the documentary Ring of Fire, the Emil Griffith story, right? Try to find this movie because it's one of the most powerful documentaries ever made. Okay, it's called the Ring of Fire, the Emil Griffith story. Next, Joe Louis, the Brown Bomber. Oh, I didn't even, there's Emil right there, I'm sorry. Next is Joe Louis. No, not Joe Louis is not next. Jersey Joe Walcott is next. Talking about some of the gentlemen of boxing. Jersey Joe Walcott. Never got trash talking his ain't from these fighters. But you got a whole lot of trash talking in the ring with their fists. Jersey Joe Walcott. Now, Jersey Joe Walcott was one of the best fighters of the 1940s and 1950s. He was a great boxer and heavyweight champion, known for his one-punch and shuffle style. Now, Jersey Joe fought great fights against Ezra Charles, Joe Louis, and Rocky Marciano. Walcott was a hard-working fighter with an interesting style that often befuddled his opponents. He came from humble beginnings, like many in the fight game, but always took his success in stride and played the likable underdog throughout his career. Jersey Joe Walcott. Now, another gentleman of boxing, Smoking Joe Frazier. Smoking Joe Frazier. Now, Joe Frazier is one of the greatest heavyweights of all time, right? Unfortunately for him, he fought in the era of arguably the greatest heavyweight of all time, Muhammad Ali. And in the final tally, he lost 2 of their 3 fights. Now, Frazier also was wiped out by George Foreman, who Ali went on to knock out in the Rumble in the Jungle. Now, Frazier's consolation prize is that in his first fight with Ali, the fight of the century at Madison Square Garden, that was the most iconic of all 3 of them. Frazier got the victory with a signature knockdown in the 14th round to seal the deal on the cards. Now, while Ali moved on to deity status, Smoking Joe lived in an apartment in Philly until his death. Now, Frazier was not the sensational talker that Ali was. Joe was humble, soft-spoken, and blue-collar all the way, classic blue-collar fighter. Now, as a heavyweight champion during Ali's 3-year suspension, Frazier advocated for Ali to be allowed to return, and he helped pave the way for his future arch rival to come back to boxing. Yes, he did. Joe Frazier did. Now, Ali ridiculed and debased his old friend, turning particularly venomous in the lead up to the Thriller in Manila, the conclusion to the greatest trilogy of all time. But not once did Frazier do the same. At least he didn't resort to the personal insults and mockery that he was treated to by Ali. Instead, Frazier exuded dignity and peace in the face of an unrelenting, vicious attack from Ali. Like I've always said, Ali went way too far in that, And Joe loaned him money when Ali didn't have an income, because boxing was all Ali knew. So when he took his license, he was going around giving speeches on college campuses and stuff, but Joe Frazier loaned him money. Joe Frazier went to bat for him and was part of the reason he got his license and everything back. Joe Frazier went to bat for him. And Ali, when he got stripped, they had a tournament to see who would win his belt. Joe Frazier boycotted the tournament. Frazier didn't even participate in the tournament in support of Ali. Okay? So Ali went way too far in his treatment of Joe. Next, in the gentleman of boxing, the Brown Bomber, Joe Louis. Joe Louis. Oh yeah, be safe out there, Bruce Gas. That's Bruce Gas, Boxing Jazz, and more. You want to talk history? Yeah. Bruce Gas, Boxing Jazz, and more. That's where the Boxtorian goes to get his history, okay? Bruce Gas done forgot more about boxing history than the rest of us will ever know. Salute, Bruce Gas. Be careful, be safe out there in your travels. Joe Louis. Okay, next. Now, Joe Louis, the Brown Bomber, was one of the greatest heavyweight champions that ever lived. In his prime, he was virtually unbeatable, suffering a lone defeat to hard-hitting German Max Schmeling, which he avenged in a brutal first-round knockout in one of the most famous events of all time. And let me tell you how brutal that was, okay? The fight ended in the first round. The fight between Joe Louis and Max Schmeling, Joe Louis knocked him out in 2 minutes. That's all the fight lasted for 2 minutes. But Max Schmeling stayed in the hospital for 2 months. That's a month per minute. 2 months from a 2-minute beating. So that describes how brutal that was, right? Now, Louis, for all of his incredible talent and stellar accomplishment, never acted as though he was better than anyone else. He never boasted. He earned widespread acclaim for enlisting to fight in World War II and donated his entire purse from his last fight to the war effort. Now, Louis was ridiculously humble for a man who achieved the highest levels of fame and glory in sports. He truly embodied the phrase, letting his fists do the talking. One of the greatest true gentlemen in every sense of the word to compete in the sport of boxing or any sport, okay? Now let's talk about the 5 guys that fought in the modern era. The 5 gentlemen of boxing that fought in the modern era. Okay. First, Miguel Cotto. Okay. Miguel Cotto. What's up, Miguel? Okay. Now, Miguel Cotto was a fighter you couldn't help but root for. He never did anything disrespectful or disdainful unless harshly provoked. He fought with courage and heart, visible in his many wounds throughout the years. Cotto spoke with a quiet confidence, not the slightest hint of machismo or arrogance. Cotto conducted himself like a sportsman, never taking things personally. Cotto was a class act in and out of the ring. He's one of the ones in those press conferences and weigh-ins when his opponent was talking trash. Miguel would just sit there and smile. You can read his mind, like I say. Wait till I get your ass in that ring. Miguel Cotto, one of the gentlemen of boxing. Okay, next, Sergio Martinez. Yep, Sergio Martinez was a gentleman. You never heard Sergio in any kind of shoving match or throwing any punches, any kind of pre-fight activities or cursing the other fighter out, anything like that. Not Sergio. Sergio did his talking in the ring with his fists. Now, Sergio Martinez took some heat from a few rabid fans when he called out Manny Pacquiao. But a Pacquiao or Mayweather fight was the most lucrative fights in the world at that time. So can you blame Sergio for throwing his head into the ring? Now, other than that, Martinez conducted himself in a very professional and sportsmanlike manner. There was genuine concern and emotion in the touching interaction with Paul Williams after Martinez savagely knocked him out in 2010. Now, Martinez was exactly as confident as he should have been and never showed arrogance or overconfidence. He always gave respect to his opponents, and most importantly, he acted honorably when things were not going great for him, like the bogus draw against Citron and the narrow defeat to Williams in their first fight. Now, Martinez took the blows in stride and came back to ascend to the top of the sport, not with his mouth, but with his hard work in the ring. Sergio Martinez, okay? Next on the gentlemen of boxing list, got a couple more, then we're going to talk about some of these movie boxers today. Carl Froch. Your Carl was not a trash talker. I didn't show Sergio. I keep forgetting. There's Sergio. My bad. There's Sergio. Carl Froch is next. There's Carl Froch. There's Carl. Wasn't the trash talker. Carl Froch. Now, Carl Froch was not short on confidence. He had a high belief in himself, and he wasn't shy about it. Now, he's on this list because he truly respected the sport and his craft. His blunt honesty might have ruffled some feathers sometimes, but Froch genuinely knew the game and conducted himself with class when it mattered most. If anyone caught the scene where Froch consoled Arthur Abraham in the locker room after their fight, softly asking him if he was all right, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. And when they were leading up to the final in the Super 6 with Andre Ward, they had a 5-minute face-off in the ring after Froch beat Glenn Johnson in the semifinal, and neither one had a single negative thing to say to each other. Okay? Nowadays, a 5-minute face-off, you're going to hear every curse word that exists. Okay? Couple more. How about Nonito Donaire? You're talking about a gentleman. Boxer. Nonito Donaire. The $1 Million Baby. We're going to talk about the $1 Million Baby, Jarrell, for sure. Clint Eastwood was her trainer. She might be the first one. But she was on the thumbnail too, I believe. Yeah. Nonito Donaire. Yes, Nonito. Damn, I got to him fast. The so-called fruit. There's Nonito. Okay. Nonito Donaire. Now, Donaire was one of boxing's brightest young stars when he came into the sport, right? He had a second-round knockout of Fernando Montiel. It was positively spine-tingling early in his career. Now, Donaire had a certain boyish charm, very friendly, always seemed happy to be there, not the frequently seen entitled, "I knew I was going to win all along" attitude in post-fight interviews that you normally see. And what really endeared Nonito to fans, he was at ringside at a fight at the Nobuhiro Ishida James Kirkland fight, working as a cameraman, right? A photographer. It's not the typical budding superstar move. And Nonito and his wife is very accessible, man. You see them in chats. Not up there getting interviewed by the content creator. You see them down in the comments in chats. Him and his wife. Matter of fact, his wife been in one of my lives one time. Yeah. Rachel, she sure was. Very down-to-earth people. Now, Nonito's has been a fan favorite throughout his career, and he's still active. Mm-hmm. And finally, Manny Pacquiao, gentleman of boxing. Manny Pacquiao. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Miss Cass in the building. He was out there talking to Sierra, making all that noise. Sierra was at the meet and greet with us. The youngest child, baby child. Not a baby though. 31. I think. I don't know how old his children is, man. I can't even remember how old I am. Okay, but yeah. Manny Pacquiao. I'm sorry, I got carried away. Salute, Miss Cass. Now, while his arch rival Floyd Mayweather played the mercurial brash villain role in promotion so effectively, Manny always adopted a soft-spoken professional demeanor. He insisted that it's never personal. He just wanted to do his job and please the fans. And he fought in a style that lent itself to crowd-pleasing affairs when the competition was good enough to handle it, okay? Now, Pacquiao caught a little criticism when he fought past the prime Shane Mosley and Antonio Margarito, right? But he deflected the criticism so well because he is an action fighter. And we give those kind of guys a type of leeway, right? And Pacquiao comes across as such a nice guy. He has never shown a malicious side publicly. And Manny likes to sing. He enjoys being around people. And he likes to please the crowd. Manny just comes off like a happy, nice guy who just happens to be an amazing fighter. Now, this isn't about who's a better person, Manny Pacquiao or Floyd Mayweather. We don't know them personally, right? But there's no denying that in the image they projected to the public as far as fighters, Manny played the nice guy while Floyd played the villain. Okay, that's undisputable. That's how they played it, right? Okay, let's get to the, what's the show today? I forgot. Oh, movie boxes. I knew, I was just messing with y'all. Yeah, I knew. Movie boxes. Talk about some boxes from the big screen, okay? We're gonna talk about Rocky. I'm gonna tell y'all what turned me about Rocky when we get to Rocky 2, okay? Because I had a big rant about him last week, remember? But I'm gonna tell y'all about it. Because I lived through the Rocky era, the movies and all that stuff, yeah. I was a grown man in the 80s. Well, a little out of the teens. Okay. All right. Movie boxes. But how's everybody today? It's Tuesday. We're still early in this big week of boxing history. Haven't seen Lucy Goosey. Lucy Goosey gave me the show for tomorrow. combinations. He wanted the list of the greatest combination punches. So first we're going to talk about some different combinations and the importance of combinations, and then we're going to list some of the greatest combination fighters. I hope Lucy Goosey is here tomorrow. I told him I was going to do a show. Wednesday is the day when I get one to come out of the chat, right? But yeah, what was it about today? Movie box. I'm gonna leave you all alone. There we go. Let's get started. Yeah. That's $1 Million Baby right there, Jarrell. See her and her trainer, Clint Eastwood. There you go. I forgot the other guy. We're gonna get to him. I forgot his name, but we'll know him when we see him. We're gonna get to him. The guy on the thumbnail with Clint and the $1 Million Baby. The $1 Million Baby is first. I told you, Jarrell. Okay. Well, let me drop this down some. And then we're going to get started. But how's everybody? This Tuesday, fine. Man, it's beautiful up here. It feels like spring up here in Baltimore today. Wow. The clocks went somewhere. Where'd they go? Spring forward, fall back. Went forward. Clocks went forward this weekend. It's staying light longer in the evening. Life is beautiful. I'm here with my peoples. Okay. Let me give you a talk about these movie boxes right now. Got 25 of them. 25 movie boxes. Let me refresh the chat. I ain't trying to miss nobody. I get threatened to be, Miss Cass threatened to fire me every day. Clarissa? No, Clarissa ain't no movie boxer, Jarrell. She a real boxer. She played in a movie though. Yeah, but I got all fictional ones, Jarrell. All fictional. You know, all fictional boxers. Okay. Now, boxing movies made a comeback over the past, in recent years, injecting new fighters into the fake pugilistic universe. Now, how do the best fighters from the extensive archive of films stack up pound for pound? It's a borderline impossible question, but let's make an attempt to answer it today, okay? Now, biographies and documentaries are not included. Fictional fighters only. Okay, there you go, Jarrell. Fictional fighters only. No biographies, because Clarissa's movie was kind of like I guess you could call it a biography. No biographies or documentaries, because those are the real fighters. Fictional fighters only. Diana Guzman is first. Here's Diana. You got $1 Million Baby? Diana Guzman, yeah. She's number one. She's the best movie boxer, Diana Guzman, right? Now, as the only well, no, that's not not who I was thinking it was. I'm sorry. As the only amateur on this list, Guzman's inclusion requires some extrapolation. Michelle Rodriguez's debut, 2000's Girl Fight. Yeah, that's the $1 Million Baby, not here yet. This was Michelle Guzman played this part in the movie Girl Fight. Played Diana Guzman. It set the actress on course to play numerous tough girl roles. This brooding teen showed immense promise. Guzman advanced to the finals of a regional tournament and defeated a boy, which happened to be her boyfriend, to win it. You know, domestic abuse in that relationship, not by the boyfriend. She was going on to bigger and better things. And while it should not matter when assessing Guzman's potential, Rodriguez pulling off staggering upsets over then MMA stars Ronda Rousey and Gina Carano twice in consecutive fast movies cannot just be ignored, okay? Jimmy Kane. Go back a little ways. Jimmy Kane. We got Kirk Douglas on here. James Cagney. Yeah, James Cagney. No, that was it might have been based on a true story, but it was I don't know, Jarrell. I'm gonna have to look into that. Well, $1 Million Baby might not be on here then. We'll see. I'm gonna have to look into that though. Jarrell got me thinking now. But Jimmy Kane. Jimmy Kane. Yeah, it might have been based on a true story, but it wasn't exactly a biography or a documentary. It wasn't exactly somebody's life being told. So yeah, but Jimmy Kane is next. Now this is James Cagney played. James Cagney did multiple boxing movies in an 8-year span. The first being 1932's Winner Take All. Kane is a lightweight contender who undergoes a strange in-ring metamorphosis. The second of Kane's two love interests influences him to undergo plastic surgery on his nose and one ear. So to protect the new features, Kane decides to dance away from contact, to the dismay of fight-goers. He reverses course upon learning said love interest is leaving town mid-fight, winning by quick knockout to follow her in a proposal attempt. Twist ending. This isn't uninteresting. Very good movie. He found out in the middle of the fight his girlfriend was leaving town, so he had to knock the guy out real quick to catch up with her and propose to her to get her to stay. Yeah, good movie. Check it out if you like. This is an old Winner Take All. Kid Galahad. Okay, these might not be the name of the movie. This is just the name of the character, the boxer. Some of them are the name of the movies, but yeah, Kid Galahad. That's him there. Okay, and the name of the movie was Kid Galahad too. But if the name of the boxer isn't the name of the movie, I'll tell you the name. But this was Kid Galahad. Okay, the name of the movie. One of many early 20th century boxing movies involving the mob or seedy promoters. 1937's Kid Galahad features a bellhop blossoming into a heavyweight champion. Now, the movie's boxing does not age well, but well-meaning ward Kid Galahad Guisenberry mounts a considerable climb to the top. He overcomes purposely bad corner advice from his mob-affiliated trainer. Boxing matters were rarely on the up and up in this era, and multiple first-round knockouts to KO champion Chuck McGraw, whom the audience becomes acquainted with after he drunkenly shoves Betty Davis. Yeah, Betty Davis was in this one too. Yeah. I haven't seen all of them, but I saw this one and I saw the James Cagney one too. The one before this one. Yeah. Yeah, Betty Davis was in this one too. Yeah, this guy was a bellhop. And then he became a heavyweight boxer and went all the way and won the championship. Yeah. Next one will be boxer Damian Anderson. Okay. Damian Anderson. Now, it is safe to say Anderson would have been a more refined product had he avoided a lengthy prison term. The ex-Golden Gloves champ was ticketed for stardom. Dame also made a comically unrealistic jump in line, becoming a Felix Chavez replacement opponent before the pro fight on his resume. In that fight, Anderson offered ruggedness to overpower a miscast foe. Ex-Terrence Crawford opponent Jose Benavidez fights at 154 pounds, just a bit shy of heavyweight range. That certainly shows on screen. Now, Anderson going toe-to-toe with Adonis Creed elevates his stock more, though the ex-amateur star really should have stalled that mega fight to pad his record. Okay, he was 1-1. Yeah, he was in. Damian Anderson was a fighter in Creed. Okay, he was in the movie Creed. Damian Anderson. Luther Shaw, movie boxers. Luther Shaw. I'm sure some of y'all have seen some of these movies. Luther Shaw is next. Now, Omar Epps has played a boxer, running back, center fielder, combo guard, and sprinter in a decorated sports movie career. So this guy played Luther Shaw. Omar Epps, y'all heard of Omar Epps. You know, he played a football player, a baseball player, and a sprinter in his career, right? Played in a lot of sports movies. But his most recent role was Shaw, a middleweight prospect discovered by pioneer manager Jackie Callis in 2004's Against the Rope. Okay? The Callis name is used, but Shaw is fictionalized. The real Jackie Callis managed celebrated champions Thomas Hearn and James Lights Out Tony, right? Shaw is closer to the Tony arc. Shaw receives a premature middleweight title chance against a dirty opponent and prevails in a capable in-ring showing. Now, though the movie underwhelmed, Epps hitting his fifth sport cannot be overlooked. Yep. Marvin Shabazz. Marvin Shabazz. Okay? This was in The Great White Hype. Okay, Marvin Shabazz played in The Great White Hype. Now, while Samuel L. Jackson's Don King heisted character sets up a race feud mismatch, yet Samuel was in this one, played Don King, remember? It was pretty bad to see it. He sets up a race feud mismatch between his unbeaten heavyweight champion and the one man who beat him as an amateur in 1996's The Great White Hype. The top challenger, Shabazz, must wait. James Roper chides Shabazz throughout, and the number one contender insists the champ's record is fraudulent. This comes to a head in a post-fight skirmish after Roper dispatches Irish Terry Conklin. Although Shabazz, in a light blue suit, got the better of a brief exchange, he cannot reasonably outright the champ based on the information we have. I know y'all heard of this one. Victor Drago. Okay? Victor Drago. Now, Victor Drago's overly muscular son warrants inclusion. The 245-pound menace's third-round knockout, which became a disqualification after a comically unnecessary extra headshot of heavyweight champ Adonis Creed, was probably the most intense Rocky universe beating, aside from possibly their father's ballroom mismatch. Despite 2018's Creed 2 giving an unpolished victor an invincible aura, the Ukrainians' lack of refinement shows up in Creed, Drago 2. With Yvonne in his corner, however, Victor profiled as a player in this timeline as heavyweight division. Because, you know, his father was one of the people that fought Rocky, remember? Tommy Gunn, Tommy Morrison played in this one. Tommy Gunn. Yeah, Tommy Morrison played Tommy Gunn, right? And Sylvester Stallone was in it as his manager, remember? Tommy Gunn. Yeah, they made too many Rockies. So what they make, like Rocky 27 or something? After 3, the Rocky was an excellent movie. The first 3, but then they kept making them. You know, we was going to school. They say, "You see Rocky?" Yeah, I saw it. No, I'm talking about Rocky 8. I thought you was talking about Rocky 2 or something. Yeah, they made like 8 Rockies, right? Now, even after Gunn lost the slightly underappreciated street fight with an ex-mentor, Rocky Balboa, he was still a champ. Previous belt holder Union Kane, whom sports writers vehemently insisted in an unusually tense post-fight press conference, lacked legitimacy since he did not beat Balboa. He was no match for Gunn. Plus, Tommy Morrison was then a prospect who would go on to beat George Foreman. Given a better build-up than Victor Drago, Gunn, the youngest heavyweight champion as of the 1990 Rocky universe, may have had a title reign ahead. Honey Roy Palmer. Louis Gossett played in this one. Honey Roy Palmer. It is Louis Gossett. Oh, there it is. Now, the name of this movie was Dicktown. And Louis Gossett was 56 years old when this movie premiered in 1992, right? But he had a one-loss career. Tabbed as an underrated heavyweight, when we catch up with him in a small southeastern town, 20 years into retirement, Palmer is the centerpiece of one of the most original sports movie plots. He must defeat 10 fighters in a 24-hour period to win a seismic bet. Palmer runs into a rugged game as the night wears on and must beat the only fighter who bested him as a pro, a bulkier Hammerhead Hagen, but shows versatility at an advanced age. He had to beat 10 fighters in 24 hours. He made a bet that he could do it. Billy Hope. Billy Hope. There's Billy Hope. Yeah, that's the other one that was on the thumbnail, Billy Hope. And Jake Gyllenhaal played Hope. As an undisputed light heavyweight champion, known more for Arturo Gatti type action sequences than ring generalship. Okay, Maggie Fitzgerald. Okay, here we go. Here's $1 Million Baby. Jaw. Yeah, Maggie Fitzgerald. That was $1 Million Baby's name, Maggie Fitzgerald. Okay, see Clint Eastwood out there? Now, a late blossoming talent with devastating knockout power, the $1 Million Baby phenom became an attraction on multiple continents. Beginning her career as a lower weight, Fitzgerald moved into the welterweight rank and was getting the better of the menacing Billy the Blue Bear Osterman during a 147-pound title match in the Oscar-winning 2004 film. And while Fitzgerald's prime was taken away, potential must be accounted for in this case. This top southpaw fighter's mid-30s could have been something special as she attempted to traverse a Bernard Hopkins type career. All right. Midge Kelly, okay, we way back. Kirk Douglas played Midge Kelly. There's Kirk Douglas. Yeah. Now, Kirk Douglas could be the least likable character on this list that includes criminals. Kelly climbs to glory in 1949. The movie was called Champion. Kirk Douglas played Kelly. He vaulted from nothing to become the best in the game, navigating mob influence. He's a beloved boxing figure, but becomes involved with his manager's wife, rapes another woman, and knocks out her boyfriend in the locker room before a title fight. But Kelly holds the middleweight belt for a while and finishes the movie with a final round knockout of a longtime rival who floored him twice. This dark film garnered Douglas an Oscar nomination, and Kelly's boxing career warrants inclusion on the list. Now here's Billy the Blue Bear. He was in $1 Million Baby, remember? Billy the Blue Bear Osterman. Yeah. It is her and $1 Million Baby, ain't it? That's Billy the Blue Bear on the right. Now, Billy the Blue Bear Osterman. Now, were this a movie list of sports movie heels? The WBA welterweight champion and $1 Million Baby would have a great case for number one. Osterman, played by real-life unbeaten boxer and kickboxer Lucia Rizker, delivered an intimidating ring walk and was an athletic marvel. Yeah, Rizker was a model too. Mm-hmm. Yeah, she was a real boxer that played Billy the Blue Bear Osterman. Now, the muscular ex-working girl, though, was an unnecessarily cartoonish character, resorting to laughingly dirty tactics in nearly every scene. Fitzgerald was winning the 147-pound clash in Las Vegas prior to an unspeakable incident, but her German foe likely entered the ring that night as a highly regarded pound-for-pound fighter. You remember she was going back to her corner, she went over there and like clotheslined her from behind. Remember that? Yeah. That was Billy the Blue Bear Osterman. played by Lucia Richker, actual boxer. She's retired now, though. Yeah, Richker is. James Roper. Here's James. That's James on the left. He played in the Great White Height. Oh, no, that might be James. That's James on the right. I'm sorry, that's the other guy on the left. Now, running his record of 38-0 with 34 knockouts. Wow, that's a hellacious knockout rate there. Let's see. 38-0 with 34 knockouts. (89.4%). Okay, James Roper. Now, Roper sees his legitimacy questioned, particularly by Duck contender Marvin Shabai, as we talked about Marvin, remember, and his manager, pre-big things Jamie Foxx, after another easy victory instead of silencing critics and accepting Shabaz's challenge. Damon Wayans, amid a two-sport movie 1996 following Southern Pride, sees this character thrust into a Larry Holmes, Jerry Cooney callback. Promoter Fred Sultan, Samuel Jackson, finds Terry Conklin out of obscurity and Roper demolishes him. Okay. Danny Stuntman Wheeler. I'm gonna jump to. We're gonna talk about some rematches coming up after this. There's Danny, and you know who played Danny Stuntman Wheeler, right? Andre Ward played him. And, you know, this was a part of Creed. Now, though Wheeler's career path is murky, his skills are undeniable. Given a lofty pedigree and being portrayed by unbeaten 168 and 175-pound champion Andre Ward, Wheeler is set to fight Ricky Conlan in what Creed deems a showdown between the numbers 1 and 2 pound-for-pound fighters. That ultimately next fight was to be a light heavyweight, but by Creed 2, Wheeler holds a heavyweight belt. Years after humbling and unpolished Adonis Creed in a sparring session, a 35-year-old Wheeler later drops his belt to the rising 28-year-old challenger. But Wheeler claiming light heavyweight and heavyweight titles is a rare accomplishment. Yeah, he beat Creed. He beat up Creed in sparring, but Creed beat him in the real fight, remember? And then Adonis Creed. There's Creed and his manager, Rocky Balboa. Remember? Rocky Balboa, his manager in the background. Yeah, as if we didn't have enough of Rocky in the 27 Rockies they made, then they're going to make Creed and put Sylvester Stallone in that. But when we get to Sylvester Stallone, I'm going to tell you what turned me against Rocky. Now, Creed vaulted several spots from this initial incarnation following his heavyweight years. After receiving a Vasily Lomachenko fast pass to title fights, thanks to his surname's ticket-selling credentials, Creed uses a decision loss against light heavyweight superstar Ricky Conlan as a springboard to a heavyweight title. Creed's fights, delivering a badly needed update in Rocky movie Ringcraft. Michael B. Jordan's character gains nearly 40 pounds between Creed and Creed 2, and varied his style to outbox 2 rivals. That said, the 27-1 fighter's biggest wins came against aging opposition, Wheeler, which was Andre Ward and Conlan, or unseasoned pros, Drago and Anderson. Saying some Floyd Mayweather Jr.-like resume holds. Mason Dixon. He was in one of the Rockies. I'm going to go past Mason. We're getting to the Rockies and the Mr. T's character, Kelly Robinson. Eddie Murphy played Kelly Robinson, remember? Despite being 41 and far removed from his cinematic peak, Eddie Murphy pulls off this prisoner scene for Mad / Floyd Mayweather Jr. hybrid. This was before Mayweather's Money Stick. So Murphy's role in 2002's I Spy may have inspired him. Fighting twice in 1 week, Robinson ends the movie at 58-0. Okay? He beats you over the head with his record like Mayweather and gives fans grand entrances like Ahmed. The Spy actor also gave early arts boxing fans a nice surprise, portraying a champion in one of the sport's lesser discussed divisions, 168-pound super middleweight. Charlie Davis is next, played in Body and Soul. I think I got another. Charlie Davis. I don't have Charlie Davis because that's Victor Drago. I'm not ready for you yet, Victor. Charlie Davis, Body and Soul, right? That was a movie from the 40s, right? Davis must navigate an extensive, sinister outside influence and falls prey to that life. That was when the mafia was deeply involved in it. Let's go to Victor. This is Yvonne Drago, not Victor. This is the father here, Victor Drago. Okay, I mean Yvonne Drago, right? This is the first one from Rocky IV. Now, because Creed II revealed Drago's career, it flatlined after his loss to Rocky Balboa in Rocky IV. The Soviet gold medalist's legacy suffers. Based on ability in a terror-inducing 1985, the PED-aided Drago still has a top 3 case. His tactics in that ludicrous on all fronts Apollo Creed exhibition match, aside the preposterously jarred Russian bludgeoned Balboa unlike anyone. The Drago, he was on PED in the movie, right? Victor Drago. Let's go to James Clubber Lang. I forgot his name yesterday before Al Booker reminded me. James Clubber Lang. There's James Clubber Lang. James Clubber Lang. Now, a common Rocky universe question. Who wins the late 1980s Lang vs. Drago showdown? Now, Clubber 29-1 as of 1982 has the common opponent edge in beating Rocky Balboa, but his performance in the rematch brings questions. Lang's all-out attacks overwhelmed Balboa for much of the Rocky III action, but whereas Drago withstood Balboa's rallies until the final round in Moscow, Lang wilted in round 3. The Lang-Drago may have unfolded like Lennox Lewis Mike Tyson, with the taller man's reach making it difficult for Lang's wild swings to connect and thus forcing a front-running fighter to fold. But the Soviets' early demise gives Lang the resume edge. I think I would have picked Drago over Clubber Lang. Now, Rocky Balboa. There's Rocky Balboa. Okay, Rocky Balboa. And he's like number 22 out of 25 in the ranking. This placement leans toward Balboa's fights in his 30s rather than the mediocre resume he compiled prior to his unlikely matchup with Apollo Creed. A top 5 ranking is debatable, obviously, with Rocky's record sitting at 57 wins, 23 losses, 1 draw. If you like to penalize the Italian stallions for the early defeats during half-committed years, that's fine. But Balboa's defeated Creed, Clubber Lang, Yvonne Drago may have ruined champion Tommy Gunn's career by a street fight and went the distance with Mason Dixon, 15 plus years in the retirement. Balboa was a dangerously careless defender and padded his record mid-Rocky III, but he was one of the best in focus. Now, what turned me against Rocky was, now this man was a fictional movie character, and in the 80s, many people was acting like he was a real fighter. They had him on the front of Sports Illustrated in the 80s, like, as the heavyweight champion. People say he could beat Larry Holmes. Like, hold up. Me and Rocky got the same record, 0-0. 100% knockout rate. 0 wins, 0 knockouts, right? 100% of 0 is 100% of 0, right? Rocky, Sylvester Stallone was in a sparring with Ernie Shavers, and Ernie Shavers was applying for a part in one of the Rocky, late 70s, one of the first Rocky, and they were sparring, and Ernie Shavers was taking it easy on him. So Sylvester Stallone said, "Come on, Ernie, show me something." And Ernie hit Sylvester Stallone in the side, and that was Ernie's last day applying for that role. Ernie didn't get it, and Sylvester Stallone wasn't even willing to spar with Ernie no more. So how in the hell was he going to beat Larry Holmes? But that's what turned me against Rocky, man. So many people back then was like he was a real fighter. On the front of Sports Illustrated, they running around in school talking about he could beat Larry Holmes. And this man ain't never had a professional fight. And he in the Hall of Fame. Him and Turkey Ali Sheik. They're making a mockery out of the Hall of Fame. Right? And the hell Sylvester Stallone get in it. Me and him got the same record, 0-0, with 100% knockout rate. 0 wins, 0 knockouts. 100% of 0, right? George Iceman Chambers. Yeah, that was like a prison movie. Ving Rhames. Remember? Now, this movie veers far too close to Mike Tyson's story, right? Hurting the film from the start. Ving Rhames played Chambers. He's a heavyweight champion in prison on charges he insisted were false. Everybody in prison is innocent, man, right? The plot diverges from Tyson's quiet prison stay when the confrontational Chambers learns there's a formidable incarcerated boxer with whom a fight could expedite his release. Viewed as one of the sport's greatest offensive fighters, per Jim Lantley during the prison one-on-one exclusive. Yeah, Jim Lantley was in the movie. Chambers entered the fight 46 wins, no losses, 1 draw, regaining the lineal heavyweight title after prison, further boasts the Iceman standing. Then we had Wesley Snipes played Monroe Hutchins. Remember? He was in the movie with Ving Rhames. He fought him in prison. Wesley Snipes, the movie was called Undisputed, remember? And he played the fighter that went up against the Iceman. Anybody see that? And then Pretty Ricky Conlan, he was in Creed. Ricky Conlan, he was in Creed. And he comes in at number 25. 26, who's number 26? Oh, damn, Apollo Creed is last. There's Apollo. Apollo Creed comes in last. Oh, shoot, I ain't paying no attention to the chat. See what's going on in the chat. Yeah, Booker says that people are just dumb, a lot of people. Our Booker going with Clubber. I had the wrestling. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, man, that's what turned me against him, though, because back then it was ridiculous, man. They was running around talking about he on Sports Illustrated, he could, because Larry Holmes was the actual heavyweight champion. They were talking about, yeah, Rocky can beat Larry Holmes. I'm like, this man is in a movie. I never liked him since then, man, you know. Come on. We hit the same record, 0-0. And finally, Apollo Creed, right? And when we meet Apollo Creed, he is nearing the end of a storied run atop the heavyweight division. Before picking out a random opponent for a showcase fight, Creed compiled a 48-0 record with 48 knockouts. Nobody had ever went the distance with him. Derived from Muhammad Ali, this character built a monster resume. Though it's not known if Creed went through an Ali-like opponent gauntlet, that outflanks the real-life inspirations. Creed outlasts the stunningly competent Rocky Balboa and was 1 second away from a decision win in the rematch before beating his friend rival in a wildly irresponsible behind closed doors rubber match years later. Given what Balboa went on to achieve, Creed's credentials are airtight. Okay. Now, I got some of the greatest rematches of all time we're going to talk about. Okay? Right now. Yeah, people are just dumb. A lot of people, man. But you know what it was? They wanted the hope around that time. Jerry Cooney couldn't do it in real life, so they made up one. Rocky. They made up a champion. And they was running around, yeah, he's the greatest thing since sliced bread. Rocky can beat Larry Holmes, man. I like to see that. How the hell you gonna see that fact? This man is a damn actor. You see me and Larry Holmes before Rocky and Larry Holmes. The man was an actor. They actually put him on Sports Illustrated, man. On the front cover. Didn't he put Larry Holmes, the actual champion, on there? Come on, man. That's what turned me against Rocky. Never liked him since. That was ridiculous. And then they put him in the Hall of Fame. And Turkey Ali Sheik. So the Hall of Fame, the Boxing Hall of Fame is worth absolutely zero, man. It means absolutely nothing. Real boxers shouldn't even want to go in there, man. Rocky in there. A movie character. And Turkey Ali Sheik, who's done absolutely nothing. Right? How long you been a promoter? What is he doing in the Hall of Fame, man? But let's get to these rematches. Yeah. The Hall of Fame to me means absolutely nothing. The Boxing Hall of Fame. Okay. You don't see no football movie characters in the NFL Hall of Fame, do you? At least I don't think so. No, only boxing. Only boxing. Take some guy that promoted a few fights over there in Saudi Arabia, all of a sudden he in the Hall of Fame. And you got boxers in there losing their life and stuff. Right? And the Hall of Fame is the end game for them. And then you're gonna put a movie character and a guy that promoted a few fights for like 2 or 3 years in the Hall of Fame. Now Don King, Bob Arum, put them in. Because they were two of the most significant figures this sport has ever seen. Tex Rickard, promoters like that. But not Turkey Ali Sheik, man. Come on. Turkey Ali, it's just a joke. The Boxing Hall of Fame is a joke, man, to me. I don't know how anybody else feels about it, but once they put Rocky in, and then Turkey Ali Sheik, it's a joke. A real boxer shouldn't even want to go in there. You know, because it's a joke. But let me get to these rematches. I'm way back here on the wrong page. Okay. Yeah, I get upset when it comes to Rocky. That shit just rubbed me the wrong way. I lived through that nonsense, man. It was crazy. I think I got in a couple fights behind that. Like Rocky beat Larry Holmes. Okay, let's me and you fight then. God damn it. Right now. I be Larry Holmes, you be Rocky. Yeah, that was crazy back in the 80s, man. It was crazy. Okay, we're gonna talk about some rematches now though. Yeah, you be Rocky, I be Larry Holmes. Let's see who wins. Okay. I got it ready. Let me get these rematches ready for y'all. Good people. Here we go, right here. Just a few. I ain't gonna bore y'all. Some of the best rematches, not heavyweight, overall boxing history. From the modern era. Okay, from the modern era. Now, boxing continues to churn out quality rivalries with rematches and rubber matches, and sometimes fourth meetings, frequently occurring during the modern era. From Pacquiao Marquez to Fury Wilder, here are some of the best rematches over the sport's past 50 years. Okay? The first one is James Lights Out Tony and Mike McCallum. Okay. Okay. Eddie Murphy and Roy. He was talking about all the Italians. Wanted to fight after they saw Rocky. Yeah. Okay. Let's. Yeah. That's. Yeah. I didn't see that album. Yeah, they belong in there, Bruce. They belong in there. Yeah, I don't think Turkey Ali Sheik. Maybe one day, but not now. He has not done half of what Bob Arum and Don King has done, man. Yeah, they belong in the Hall of Fame. I would put Eddie Hearn in there before Turkey Ali Sheik, or Oscar as a promoter before Turkey Ali Sheik. They'd have done more than Turkey did. Turkey might promote fights for another year and never hear from him again. You know what I mean? You got to have some longevity to get in the Hall of Fame. But James Lights Out Tony, Mike McCallum. Now, some of the fights on this list involve slugger, but Tony and McCallum were two quality boxers when they faced off on the first two legs of their trilogy. Now, before moving up in weight, Tony defended his middleweight belt 7 times. Now, McCallum was the toughest obstacle. After a 1991 draw, the 35-year-old Jamaican sought to become the oldest fighter at that time to hold a major belt. Tony, however, had different plans, and Tony stopped him in the 1992 rematch. It took a taxing 12 rounds, filled with trademark McCallum body shots, to get it done, right? Now, though two judges hardly had Tony winning widely. Now, Tony beat McCallum in 1997 when they were cruiserweights too. That was their third fight. Okay. Rocky Martinez and Orlando Salido. This was another good one. Rocky Martinez and Orlando Salido. Okay. But I'm sorry for ranting like that, y'all. I'm sorry. Rocky Martinez and Orlando Salido. Yeah, Bruce. Don King and Bob father definitely belong in there. For sure. I did a show on the 50 most significant figures in boxing history. Bob Arum and Don King was both top 5, man. Both top 5. Yes. That's Salido with the bald head and Martinez, the other one. Now, the Floyd Mayweather Jr. Andre Berto fight proved a predictable dud, but its top undercard fight delivered the expected action. Salido lost the decision to Martinez, right? And outlanded his junior lightweight foe 285 to 189 in the September rematch. However, the judges viewed this as a draw, adding yet another non-win to Salido's unique legend. Salido is 44 wins, 14 losses, 4 draws. But Salido remained a coveted commodity due to his style. The Mexican brawler managed to throw 1,037 punches that night. But Martinez soon lost his 130-pound belt to Vasily Lomachenko. Okay? Yeah, Lomachenko took it. I got Lomachenko right number 3 at lightweight. Thanks to Curry Lomachenko. Got Lomachenko over all those youngsters. I sure do. Keyshawn and Andy Cruz and Murray Tyler, all of them. I got Lomachenko over all of them right now. Mm-hmm. Sure do. Nate, Michael Carvajal, Humberto Gonzalez. There you go. I got Carvajal's name covered up. Now, part of a groundbreaking trilogy for the flyweight division, Carvajal Gonzalez 2 made the former the first man under 128 pounds to make $1 million for a fight. Now, he knocked out Gonzalez in Ring Magazine's 1993 Fight of the Year, and the February 1994 rematch was a rare light flyweight pay-per-view main event, right? Now, Carvajal was a 4-1 favorite, and he was the rare American flyweight success story, right? Yeah, mostly Asians and Latino fighters down in that category. But yeah, Carvajal was a rare American down there, and they had great success. One of the greatest light flyweights ever. Okay. Now Carvajal cut Gonzalez midway through the second fight, but could not hold off the 5'1" Mexican. Gonzalez took a split decision and prevailed later that year by majority decision. And both of those guys in the Hall of Fame, and they both belong in there. Both of them two on the screen are Hall of Famers, and they belong in the Hall of Fame. They had Hall of Fame careers. Yes, they did. And they fought like light flyweight, 105, 108, 112, around in that area. Yvonne Robinson or Arturo Gatti. These were some good fights between them two. Gatti, yeah, and Robinson. Now, Robinson and Gatti fought twice in 1998. The explosive first matchup won Fight of the Year claim. And the third round of the December 98 rematch won Round of the Year. Both fights featured the frenetic action associated with the late Arturo Gatti. You know, a Gatti fight gonna be fan-friendly. But Robinson won each by unanimous decision. Okay? Now, the taller lightweight landed up in the rematch. Robinson landed a preposterous 77 or 117 punches in round 7. 117 punches in one round. But as a light puncher, could knock Gatti down. Okay, if he was a heavy puncher, probably still ain't knocking Gatti down. Losses aside, Gatti remained an HBO staple well into the 2000s. Yeah, Arturo Gatti. He should be in the Hall of Fame too. Definitely should be in it. Harry Wally isn't in it? That's unbelievable. That's the guy that isn't he the one that Ali had trained him when Dundee was in Ellis's corner, Bruce? Isn't that Harry Wally, the trainer, right? Remember when Dundee, Ali and Ellis, I get him and Jimmy Young mixed up. Jimmy Ellis from Louisville. When Ali and Ellis fought, Dundee was in Ellis's corner because he was Ellis's manager and trainer. And as manager, he got a bigger part of the purse. And I think Ali had Harry Wally. I think that's the guy. Right, Bruce? Anybody know Bruce Gas will tell us in a minute. Yeah, the great Harry Wally. Isn't in the Hall of Fame? What? No way. All these years? I think he worked with Henry Armstrong and Sugar Ray, didn't he? Wow, that's crazy, man. Yeah, the Hall of Fame. I'm done with the Hall of Fame. Harry Wally isn't in it? Gee, that's crazy, man. That is totally crazy. Wow. If it's the guy I'm thinking about, he ain't in the Hall of Fame. They shouldn't even have a Hall of Fame. Damn. Okay, Ricardo Lopez and Rosendo Alvarez. Wow, I can't get over that. Yeah. Now, Ricardo Lopez was 51-0 with one draw. This is the man that gave him his draw. Yeah, that is hard to believe, Bruce. This is the man that gave him his draw. And when they had the rematch and Alvarez beat him, when they had the rematch, Lopez, let me start over. Lopez was 51-0 with one draw. Alvarez was the man that gave him that draw. When they had the rematch and Lopez beat Alvarez actually got the nod on one judge's card. It was a split decision. So Alvarez was definitely Lopez's toughest opponent, right? He actually won on one judge's card in the rematch. Gave him a draw and a split decision. So yeah, we talk about their couple of fights. One of his era's finest fighters, Ricardo Lopez dominated boxing small and weight divisions throughout the 1990s. He missed being the champion for the entire decade by a few months because he decided to move up in 99. Instead of finishing the 99 out and being with Joe Louis, the only fighter to be champion for an entire decade. But Ricardo was on the greater things, and he did become a champion at 108, okay? And plus, Ricardo Lopez never lost in his life. Never lost in the amateurs either. Nope. Never lost as a professional or amateur. Maybe he lost some sparring or something, but never lost any kind of a fight. Now, one of his era's finest fighters, Ricardo Lopez, dominated boxing's smallest weight division throughout the 1990s. However, Alvarez is responsible for the lone partial blemish on Lopez's record, right? A split draw in March 1998. Alvarez was the only man to ever knock Lopez down. And going into their November 1998 rematch, he held a considerable weight advantage after failing to make the 103-pound limit. Now, the larger man cut the division kingpin to shreds throughout the fight, but Lopez outworked his adversary in the final round en route to a split decision win. Yeah, Lopez had to work for that, man, because Alvarez had his number. Check that out. 1998 was the rematch between Ricardo Lopez and Vicente Alvarez. A lot of people overlook those smaller divisions, man, but that's worth watching. Okay. And I think it was 105, not 103. I think it was 105-pound limit. But yeah, that was a great fight. And Alvarez gave Lopez all he could handle. You know how some fighters just have your number, and Alvarez just had Lopez's number. Never beat him, but he gave him a draw. Only man to ever knock him down. And he actually got the nod from one of the judges in that rematch. Yeah. But Lopez did finish at 51-0 with one draw. Yeah, he did. He never was beaten. Amateurs or pro level. That's crazy. But never was. Okay. Let's move on to the next rematch. It was Johnny Tapia and Paulie Ayala. Yeah, you know, a lot of lower weight classes, but yeah, they're worth it, you know. Check them out. Johnny Tapia and Paulie Ayala. Now, the longtime rivals rematch ended in a similar fashion in the ring, but produced craziness after the scores were announced. Then, a two-division champion, that's Tapia on the left, okay, Ayala on the right. Then a two-division champion, Tapia lost by unanimous decision to Ayala at 124-pound catch weight in 2000, right? The two met at 118 pounds in 1999's Fight of the Year. And incensed after seeing the judges deem his effort insufficient again, Tapia shoved top-ranked executive Todd DeBeef, who was Bob Arum's stepson. DeBeef did both, something like that. And Arum was Ayala's promoter, right? Tapia's brother-in-law then punched DeBeef in the face and was arrested. Yeah. Tapia pushed DeBeef, both Bob Arum's stepson. I'm just say Todd. Tapia pushed Todd, and his brother-in-law punched him in the face. Right? Brother-in-law got arrested. There's always the second one to get caught. Like they say in football, always the second one. Ayala pushed him first, but the brother-in-law punched him and he got caught. He the one that got locked up. Bobby Chacon versus Cornelius Bowler Evans. Great center fight, man, between these two. And you know, Bobby Chacon is Sidewalker Boxios on the TWT's uncle. That's his mother's brother. Yeah. Skywalker Boxio's uncle. There they go. Those are Edwards and Bobby Chacon. Now, Arturo Gatti, before Arturo Gatti, Bobby Chacon participated in back-to-back fights of the year. The second coming against Cornelius Bowler Evans. Bobby Chacon was Arturo Gatti before Arturo Gatti. Now, 4 knockdowns occurred in Chacon's May 1983 fight with Bowler Evans, a Ugandan who knocked out the American to retain the junior lightweight title in 1981. Then Chacon sent his opponent to the canvas 3 times, and Bowler Evans reciprocated with 1 knockdown. Chacon sustained 2 bad cuts, but this fight still made it to the cards. Stripped of his 130-pound title prior to the fight, Chacon won another slugfest, this one by unanimous decision. And guess why he was stripped? Because they wanted him to go to Puerto Rico and fight. I forgot who it was, but it was a Puerto Rican fighter. And Chacon like, no, I'm the champion. And they stripped him, right? They wanted him to go to another fighter's native country and fight that fighter. And he's the champion. And when Chacon refused, he got stripped. Ain't that crazy? Beef. Yeah, that's right, Booker, beef. But that's crazy. He should be coming to me. I'm the champion. And the WBC stripped him. And that was Mauricio's father, who was full of just as much nonsense as Mauricio. That was, I forgot his father's name. Mauricio, what's the last name? If I knew the last name, I could think of his father's first name. What's Mauricio's last name, somebody? The president of WBC. Mauricio, man. Anyway, his father was president at that time. I don't know if his father, I think he was in the 80s, yeah. I think he was. Okay, next, got a couple more rematches. Got a little talk about a journeyman too. What is a journeyman? We were talking about that somewhere the other day about journeyman. This one is, I think that's Chocolatito, right? Yeah. Look like Chocolatito. It is Chocolatito. Roman Gonzalez versus Juan Francisco Estrada. Yeah, I thought Chocolatito won too. Now, Estrada did win the third fight, but I thought Chocolatito won the first two. Really did. Now, Fury Wilder 3 attracted more viewers and brought more drama. But skill-wise, March 2021, Gonzalez versus Estrada 2 lapped that heavyweight battle and deserved Fight of the Year honors. But of course, Fury Wilder got it, right? But yeah, Chocolatito and Gonzalez was a battle. Rematching 9 years after Gonzalez defeated Estrada to keep. Yeah, I thought Chocolatito won both of those fights. Okay. Now, Estrada did win the rubber match. Now, rematching 9 years after Gonzalez defeated Estrada to keep his light flyweight title, the two met at junior bantamweight. The result, a non-stop war. I think they threw over like 2,500 punches in that fight, man. 2,500 punches between them. Okay? Over 12 rounds. How many punches does that average a round? Yeah. He threw 2,500 punches in 12 rounds between them in that second fight. Damn, that's over 200 punches a round, man. Wow. They went at it. Yeah, that was a great fight. But anyway, it was a non-stop war. Although no knockdowns occurred, both of those guys had great chin. That's why Bam, when he got Estrada down, what was it? A liver punch. Right? Bam said, I know you got a good chin, Estrada, so I'm going to go to the liver. Gonzalez thought to be finished after a 2017 knockout loss to Siscarat for Rumble style, showed why he is one of this era's greatest. While it seemed Chocolatito did enough to outpoint his jungle rival, he did, outlanding him 391 to 314. The 33-year-old Nicaraguan lost the decision to the 30-year-old Mexican, who won a slightly less frenzied rubber match in 2022. Now, he did win the rubber match in 2022, but Chocolatito beat him in the second fight, man. They gave it to Estrada, yeah. I would say it was a robbery. Okay, it was. Matthew Saad Muhammad versus Yaki Lopez. Saad Muhammad versus Yaki Lopez. Just a couple more. Amid a 3+ year light heavyweight Amid a 3+ year light heavyweight reign, the former Matthew Franklin ran into a determined challenger in 1980. In his fourth bid to win a 175-pound title, Lopez pushed the champion to the brink with a strong first half. Saad Muhammad reversed the fight's course by withstanding a full set of Lopez shots while on the ropes in the 8th round, and the Philadelphia native finished off the Mexican with 4 knockdowns in the 14th. Saad Muhammad was involved in some classics. 1980's Fighter of the Year was one of his best. Okay? And yeah, that's Frank Muhammad on the left, Lopez on the right. And then same guy, but he was Matthew Franklin. Then Matthew Franklin versus Marvin Johnson. Although he had yet to change his name to Matthew Saad Muhammad, the light heavyweight's penchant for action was there. Johnson lost the first fight against Franklin, a non-major title opportunity in 1977, but entered the 1979 rematch with a 175-pound title belt. He showed it early by controlling the Indianapolis Station fight, but as he was wont to do, Franklin reemerged midway through and decked Johnson in the final seconds of round 7. Yeah, he always came on in mid to late rounds. Saad Muhammad always came on, right? And the Southpaw champion, Johnson, tried to respond in the 8th, but Franklin got the better of a previous exchange and subdued Johnson by KO to begin his title reign. Okay? Carlos Monzon, King Carlos Monzon versus Rodrigo Valdez. What a couple battles they had. Man. That's King Carlos on the left and Rodrigo Valdez on the right. 2 of those great 1970s fighters I'm always talking about. The marvelous Marvin Hagler and Bernard Hopkins chased the legacy of Monzon, regarded by many as a sports #1 middleweight. Arguably, he is, man. Yeah, arguably. King Carlos is up there. I put King Carlos and Marvin Hagler in front of Sugar Ray Robinson at middleweight. Now, welterweight, Sugar Ray Robinson is the king, but middleweight, he took some L's in them 50s from those great middleweights. And middleweight, I got to put King Carlos, Carmen. Wait a minute, Carlos. King Carlos Monzon and Marvin Hagler in front of him. Just got to do it. Okay. A Colombian contender, Rodrigo Valdez, twice pushed the Argentinian legend to the brink, but could not take the WBA and WBC belt. Monzon had held throughout the 1970s. Told y'all. Between 1970 and 1987, 17-year stretch. 14 of those 17 years, either King Carlos Monzon or Marvin Marvelous Hagler was the undisputed middleweight champion. All but 3 of those 17 years, one of those 2 fighters had it. Now, their careers did overlap, but King Carlos was at the end, Marvin was at the beginning, so a fight between them would have meant absolutely nothing. You know, one was old, one was young, so, why boss? And they never fought. And I'm glad they didn't, because it would have been absolutely nothing. Okay? Alexis Arguello, Alfredo Escalera, the explosive thin man, and Escalera, Alfredo. Another couple of great fighters from the 70s. And then they had a couple of great fights. Bobby Chacon again. Bazooka Limon. They had a couple of great fights between them. I want to get to this thing on the Journeyman. And then we had Israel Vasquez, and I talked about this plenty of times. Rafael Marquez, little brother to Juan Manuel. Rest in peace, Israel Vasquez. I think he just passed away in December. That's Israel Vasquez on the right, I believe, and Marquez on the left. I think. And Jose Luis Ramirez and Edwin Rosario was another great killer. Yes, it was. Okay, and that's it. I want to talk about these journeymen. Okay, I forgot where we were the other day when we were talking about journeymen. People. I think it was on J Hardcore Chat. We were talking about people. Is this person a journeyman? Is that person a journeyman? So let's talk about journeymen. What is a journeyman? All that kind of stuff. Okay. Yeah. What is a journeyman? I'm glad you asked. Okay. Okay. Now, what is the difference between wait a minute. That's not what I'm looking for. What is this? What is the difference between a professional boxer and a journeyman boxer? Huh? Glad you asked, Kat. Okay. Glad you asked. Let's talk about it. Now, a professional boxer is anyone who earns money for boxing, competing against other professional boxers. Now, most of us would probably understand the term as referring to boxing taking place under the authority of the state commissions and or regional commissions outside the U.S. and any other several sanctioning organizations, WBA, IBF, et cetera, et cetera. Okay? Now, a journeyman boxer is most often used broadly to refer to any of the following. Okay? Professional boxers who are good enough to defend themselves and make a reasonable effort, but are not likely to beat the champion or top 10 contender, right? Or you could describe a journeyman as the professional opponent, someone at least credible looking who knows his way around the ring. These guys are used to keep a superior. These guys are used to keep a superior fighter busy and in the public eye. They are also used to pad the record of a promising prospect and with insignificant wins. Okay, this type can be expected to at least appear to go out and try hard and eventually fall down when it becomes pointless. See Bruce the Mouse Strauss. Okay. Now, some journeymen have great chins and pride and are hard enough to knock out and just skilled enough so that they are often the first to make a highly touted prospect go the distance, right? Prospects fighting all those fights against other prospects. Then they start fighting them journeymen. They start going on later on up into the fight, right? Now, this type of journeyman is sometimes used by a manager to get the hot shot prospect a necessary challenge, one which he might not pass, or best case scenario, shows the boxing world into ruined public that the star isn't a shooting star, it's the real deal, right? Now, we knew he could knock out lower tier fighters. Now we know he can fight consistently over the distance, show his skill, conditioning, smart against a fighter with a name, or at least had a name, the journeyman then, right? Now Ross Purdy was a naturally talented heavyweight who didn't usually have the training or management to give himself the best opportunities. He was a working man who didn't always have the luxury of time to get into top 10 shape. He could fight a little, and on some nights, he was quite good. He also had a chin of pure titanium. He'd make a perfect journeyman. Long before Corey Sanders bum rushed Vladimir Klitschko and forced him to either retire early or go back to the drawing board and design a new safety at all costs, Ross Purdy took a few thousand of the best shots Vladimir could land. The future champion completely gassed out and possibly freaked out at the unthinkable reality of an opponent who could take his best shots, took a couple of shots, and collapsed, hyperventilating only to be rescued by his corner. Valuable intel. A substantial part of the next couple of decades of heavyweight boxing was born on that night, when we and the Klitschko team learned what they would have to do if Vlad was to continue as a professional boxer, much less a champion. Opponent, trial horse, journeyman, sometimes called a gatekeeper, a truth machine. How many fights and careers could you think of in which the deciding factor was the ability of the less impressive looking guy to take it and keep coming? Folks who practically make a religion out of saying Rocky Marciano sucked are the ones who can accept that looking slick is meaningless, that the size of the fight and the dog will usually be more important than the size of the dog, and that ugly punches from short guys can break you into little pieces, okay? Unfortunately, the word journeyman is sometimes used so broadly that it also refers to that the derogatory term bomb or tomato can. Hit it and watch the red juice start flowing. Now, unless a fighter is a total fraud, which means that the managers and promoters are also frauds, that is not a term I approve of, nor should anyone who is serious or loves the sport of boxing, okay? Should not use those terms, tomato can, bomb, cab driver, if you're a serious fan or love the sport, right? Because I seriously doubt if anybody calling those guys cab driver, bomb, tomato can, I seriously doubt if they could beat them. And I seriously doubt if they would be willing to get in the ring to fight them in the first damn place. So why are you calling them that? You wouldn't even get in there and face them, okay? So don't call the people that, man. But in truth, the word journeyman dates back hundreds of years to the trade guild and earlier. A journeyman was a respected professional, someone who might not be a master craftsman or artist, but he could be counted on to do a solid day's skilled labor. Someone who would take a journey or day trip to do work for which he had a good reputation. The word can connote a minimally skilled day laborer, a skilled craftsman who is not quite a master yet, but is no longer an apprentice either, or a professional of any level of skill. He doesn't run his own shop yet, but he can be entrusted to go out and deliver a good day's work without making his boss look bad, okay? That's where the journeyman word came from. Now, boxing's true journeymen, here to take the time real quick. Boxing's true journeymen are the good, honest professionals who sometimes win the big fight, but more often are known for putting up a skilled and smart or just good enough effort against some rising star or champion who was just a little too special to be beat. A journeyman is a good, trustworthy professional. Okay, that's the journeyman. All right? Okay, tomorrow we have, we're going to talk about combination, brought to you by Loosey Goosey. Okay, we're going to talk about a few different types of combinations, the importance of combinations, and Loosey Goosey wanted to see a list of the best combinations throughout history. So we're going to do that and talk about them and the combination history or whatever. But we're going to talk about some of the best combination boxing history. We haven't had boxing in the States in a couple of weeks because the other week we moved the Profiler Thursday because that was the New York trip, and then last week I was working on the wrong state. I kept saying Oregon, but I had done Oregon. Pennsylvania was last, so it should have been Rhode Island should be next. So Rhode Island will be this Thursday, and the profile this week is Sergey Kovalev, right? And he has one of those Oscar resumes, man. Kovalev does, man. Fought Andre Ward twice. Fury. Did he fight Joshua? I'm not sure. I know it's Fort Canelo. Gotta find your resume. And we're gonna talk about Sergi Friday. Okay? Good fighter in his era. Okay, we still in the early and a big week of boxing history. I appreciate everybody that came through today as always. I hope you enjoyed the movie boxes. I just thought, do a little something different. But yeah, tomorrow, combination punches. And some of the best combination punches in the history of this great sport, like Sugar Ray and just some good combinations. Ali was a good combination puncher. And yet in boxing in the States return, Sergey Kovalev. Another great week of boxing history. Just Do Boxing is coming up next in the JBT Street. 4 p.m. shorty. And we got I don't know if the Rise podcast. I don't think the Rise podcast comes on Tuesday, right? So yeah. We got BVO Boxing is a good show, part of the STN Sports Talk Network, coming up at 8 o'clock with the gang. BVO, Beat Free, Crush the Legend, Prize Fighter, Thomas Hill. So yeah, we got that at 8 tonight after Just Do. Might get an Angry White Man in there since the Rise ain't coming on. They sometimes fill in and give us a great show. D1 and William Old School Rant. Met D1 other Friday to meet and greet. And yes, he's just as crazy in person as he is on that podcast, okay? Just as crazy in person as he is on that podcast, okay? Yes, D1 is. Just as crazy in person as he is on that podcast, yeah. Yeah, I walked in the place, man. It was like early. And the only ones there at that time was D1, Remo, and Big Dre. And I'm going to walk right past Big Dre and D1, and then I happened to look. Big Dre and D1 standing over there. Then I went over there. And they knew I was part of the JBT because I wore Jay Hardcore's hat, the hangout hat with the emblem, his logo on the front. I wore that hat to the meet and greet. I rocked Jay's hat, yeah. And Remo was in there. Remo ain't that short, y'all. Remo about 5'11". They was talking about how short Remo was. Remo about 5'11", man. Yeah. Because I'm 6'2", and Remo is like up to my eyes almost. Yeah, Remo ain't that short. 5'11". But it was a great time, man. Looking forward to the next one. I ain't missing no more. I missed the first one, but I had a great time up there in New York. BN Boxing News was in there. BN Boxing News is cool. I can hang with BN, man. We pulled up to the bar for a minute, knocking them down, rapping, chopping it up, me and BN Boxing News. I was sitting there, somebody came up and said, Cass Sports. I turned around, BN Boxing News. It was a great night, yeah. So on to the next. Okay. But Just Do Boxing is up next. Appreciate everybody for coming through today. We'll be back tomorrow with another Cass Sports. We're going to talk about combinations. Hope Lucy Goosey is in here because he came up with the idea for the show, right? So we'll see. But we'll be here. Okay. I'll be here. I don't even know if Miss Cass is going to be here. But I'll be here. Okay? So join me then. Just Do Boxing is up next. Let me check up real quick before we go. Beautiful weather today, man. Wow. I was in my hoodie when I did my walk this morning, man. Comfortable. Got kind of warm with just my hoodie on. But I said, no, I can't strip down to my t-shirt. I'm sick right now, And, but we getting there. Staying light longer in the evening. I love it. I like when it stays light in the evening. It can be dark in the morning, but I don't like wintertime when it's getting dark like 5 o'clock, man. That's crazy, ain't it? Yeah. We'll be getting ready to get dark in another hour, but not anymore. We're going to whatever they call it. Daylight savings time or nighttime, daylight. I don't know what they call it, but I know it's getting dark like 7, 8 o'clock. Okay. It's just do boxing today. Let's see what we got going on over there before we go. Today on Just Do Boxing, Teofimo slaps Barboza. Bill Haney go off on reporter. David Haney gets booed. Check Ryan and Teal. Today on Just Do Boxing in about 5 minutes. Okay. Bruce Gas, Boxing, Jazz, and more. Al Booger, Mike Rim, Jarrell Hattie, Kensaw Love One, Tim Layton, Mike Mazik, and Miss Cass. All right. We will be back tomorrow with another Cass Sports. Because if it's Monday through Friday at 2 p.m., it's the Boxtorian bringing you all that boxing history. Just Do Boxing straight ahead. This is Cass Sports. Appreciate y'all. Everybody have a great afternoon. I will see y'all around those JBT streets. Where the hell did the cursor go to? Oh, excuse me.